So I had this idea. What if we could break down the stigma of what a luxury service is and make it more accessible to everyday women? Because investing in yourself shouldn't be a luxury.
Hey. All right, so we're continuing with the Invest in Yourself series today, and I'm here with Kristen Ricupero, and her business is financial fitness coaching.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a quick little story. I started following Kristen on Instagram, and that's how I found her. And instantly, the minute I found her, I was like, oh, I need her. And I followed her right away, and I started listening to her advice. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so important. And I thought, this is such a great way to invest in yourself, because we invest in our health, we invest in our fitness, we invest in food, we invest in everything, we invest in our wellness. But such a big part of wellness for me right now is knowing, is money, is financial for me. So I have a small business, and this is something that was really important for me to invest in my small business. She also does personal, but I'm using Kristen's services for at-home beauty for my business, because it's a mess. Like my financial systems are kind of a mess, and it causes me anxiety. So the minute I saw her, I was like, I need this. I need to really invest in, really get myself kind of squared away. It was time. So
I love your honesty.
I am. I'm super honest about this. But this was such a huge thing. This was my year to invest in myself. And I've never really invested in this way. I've invested in health, wellness, beauty, clothing. I've invested in so many things. But I think that so many of us don't think about our financial wellness as part of our wellness. And it causes anxiety. It causes me anxiety. And this was really important for me to kind of bring this in as part of the series.
Absolutely. And I appreciate it so much, because it is a huge part of our wellness. Your mental health is affected by your stress. Your stress, money. Most people have anxiety and stress
Absolutely.
over money.
Yeah.
You're not abnormal. You're very normal for saying that.
Right. And I feel like if we're being conscious of, if it's our personal or if it's our business wellness, are we bringing enough money in, as always, but are we also then being conscious of where our money is going, our expenses, how are things running smoothly? Are we making the most of our dollars? And so for me this year, it became really important to know these things. And I realized I didn't know all of, Kristen sent me an intake form, and it was all these questions about my business. And it was startling to me that I didn't know a lot of the answers. And I was like, wow, I really need this. I should know this about my business. I focus on the creative side of things, and I don't often, because that's the side I like. And so this is a part that kind of falls by the wayside. It was really important for me to be able to know these answers and be responsible with them.
Yes. And what I loved was your...
I'll turn my phone off real quick. I'll turn my phone off.
I hope I did mine too. But again, you were brutally honest from the beginning. So that gives me a starting point.
Yeah.
Rather than you trying to say oh yeah, and fluff your way through that, I'm doing this in sales, I'm doing this, or, fluffing your way and pretending like you know it. It's so much easier to just say hey, we're starting ground zero. I don't know these numbers. So can we just start there?
So, all right. Yeah, we're definitely starting ground zero, but tell me a little bit about the services that you offer. Tell
Absolutely.
me what we're doing. What are you doing with me right now?
So for Leanne and for the small businesses, I work to help you learn to manage your money better, to put systems and strategies in place to help your cash flow. And I do use that. I do that through using the system Profit First.
Got it.
Pretty much. That's the system that I put in for the cash flow.
All right. We're going to go back and say that again.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So Kristen, tell me a little bit about your service that you provide, and tell me a little bit about what are you doing for me? What's the service?
Absolutely. So for the small businesses and entrepreneurs, I work very closely hand in hand, working to learn to manage your money better, to put systems and cash flow processes into place. And some of those systems are bookkeeping if you don't have bookkeeping already, which is something that we're working on for you.
Right. I do have a very, very, I don't know if you would really call it bookkeeping, but I have my own little system. Not sure it's working.
There's a lot of systems. There's still a lot of people using hand systems, and I just write this down, or I keep track on this Excel spreadsheet, and that's okay. But we can put things into place that make your life so much better. A side note, I saw somebody the other day, and they said that, hey, I'm sitting here sorting through on a Friday night through all of my receipts and putting them into my books. that just gave me like, oh, I want to help you.
Yeah.
I want to help you fix that, because you shouldn't sit there on a Friday night and have to sort through your receipts. That's horrible. That's horrifying. So I also use a system called Profit First, and we'll be getting to that. We're not starting there with you, but I do start there in a lot of places, and that's we'll be getting there soon. That's the cash flow system. It works with your accounting. It works with your bookkeeping, but it's to work with entrepreneurs' behavior. So it's to work with it's not changing. Again, we are working through mindset. We are working through behavior, but we're not trying to change who you are and how you operate. We're going to try to bring systems in that are going to work with how you already think and how you already operate. So through Profit First, it's a developed system that we use. There's a book by Mike Michalowicz, first of all, that this is based off of, and I'm certified through Mike to teach this. And it's to help you learn to take more money home, to turn your business into being profitable, because most businesses aren't profitable. If you're not profitable, you don't really have, I don't say you don't have a business, but you're doing a lot of work for like nothing. So, and there's a lot of reasons you want to be profitable. If you want to ever sell your business, if you want to, bring people on, there's, to pay off debt, to be able to bring more home. There's a lot of reasons to do profit, but, we also, taxes are a huge thing. And I know that that's big anxiety for a lot of business owners. So through this system, we also are, teaching you how to set aside for your taxes right away, immediately, every portion of what comes in. And then there's a lot of other advanced techniques that we're looking at, for Leanne here specifically, but that's it. It's different processes, systems, structures, behavior. Everybody's a little bit different on what we work through. It's a lot of goal setting, figuring out what your goals are, because if we don't know where we're going, we don't know how to get there,
right.
And developing those plans.
And I think a lot of times we don't ever sit down and think about, like, that's something I did earlier this year for the first time. It was actually like through a business development course. It was just like, what do you really want this year?
Yeah, like why are you doing this?
Why are we even doing this? Like what's the arbitrary, like give me a real, like what is the end of the year? What does December 31st of 2019 look like for you? Really spell it out and really look at it. And then how do you break it down and get there? And I think a lot of times we just don't do that. We get so caught up in like the day-to-day operations where we just don't do it.
Right.
So it's good to kind of have a breakdown, a monthly like snapshot of what that's going to be.
Exactly. And that was one of the first things we started in your first session, was looking at that snapshot, the profitability, and doing a long-term projections out to see where are you going to be and what do you need to do to achieve those goals. And, depending on where your sales are, then what can you spend on marketing that month, or should you spend the money on marketing, or you need to be, planning now for Christmas and things like that. So we plan for so much in our businesses. We plan for our social media posts. We plan for our clients. And we plan out our schedules. But we don't plan our money.
It's super, super true.
And that's probably the most critical part. If you have this plan and you have this map of where to go, you can focus on your business. You can focus on your clients. You can focus on what you do well.
So Kristen and I met 2 weeks ago. And we met in person, which was huge. It was so beneficial to be able to sit down and really say, I love that this is an in-person service. I love that I can kind of pull up my disaster of what I have going on, and she can kind of help me sort through the badness.
Beautiful
which
disaster,
is where
right?
we're at right now. This is the phase that we're at right now. But then she also gave me homework. She was like, okay, so here are some things. So we had a 90-minute meeting. And we started setting some things up, and she was like, all right, now I want you to continue on. And then we scheduled to meet again. So I love that. I love that it's a little bit of hand-holding in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of need it right now, a little bit of hand-holding to learn this, because these are things that I naturally think about. I'm just not this isn't my brain. I'm a creative. I enjoy the creative side of it. When it comes to money, I feel like I do maybe need a little bit more hand-holding than someone else who maybe has an accounting background.
And that's okay. I mean, a big part of what I do is the educational aspect. It's pushing you beyond your comfort zone a little bit. And it's also the accountability part.
And I love that. I love that. So
yes.
I did get some stuff done. So then I had a list of things that I had to do, a lot of which it was just setting up new systems. I'm setting up brand new bank accounts. I like this. I like this idea that it's kind of like an envelope system of where your money goes. So I spent some time doing that over the past 2 weeks, and we're kind of going to look at some of that today as well. But tell me a little bit about how someone would engage you for this service. How does it work? Is there I know I've done this. So it's a monthly service, correct?
It is. I always ask for at least a minimum of a 4-month engagement. I typically look at a year-long engagement because we're looking at this being, again, the business-wise especially, a complete investment, and I don't want to say overhaul, but it's baby steps. So we take the first 3 to 4 months getting the systems and steps up into process. The process is up, and then the next, beyond that, and until really you feel very comfortable, but it takes around a year to see all the benefits of this and to make the strategic changes, to continue to following on the goals, to look at the expense analysis, to continue working on KPIs and all of those things that we can look at to what makes your life better and easier in the financial realm.
So when we first spoke, you told me that you and Kristen also does personal. So she does personal finance, and then she also does business finance. So for me, this was a place that I needed to invest in my business. But you had 3 different
levels, correct,
of service.
Correct.
So just so you can give them a little bit of an idea of what an investment in this would be, because this is, I will be honest with you, this series is about investing in yourself. And these, sometimes people think of them as luxury services, but we want to break them down and make them accessible to everyone. This was my biggest investment that I made in, this is a financial investment. However, it was not my biggest investment in my business this year. Like, I have thousands of dollars in education for services that I offer that I invested in this year and last year. So I can invest, thousands of dollars into this. This was, this was like equivalent of like a new iPhone.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, if I can drop, I'd love to get a new iPhone. But like for me, I'm like, this is such a worthy investment. But just, if you can just let everyone know a little bit about, what the investment is.
Absolutely. And it does vary, for the business end. I'll start with the business and I'll talk about personal also, because they are different. The business end does vary based on your business. So if you are a solopreneur versus if you have partners, if you're a startup versus you have $3 million in top line revenue. There are a lot of factors that I look at when we're talking about before I can give an honest quote. But one thing that I look at is what the value you're going to be getting. So what I can reassure you that you're investing. So Leanne's on the base level, right? And I have anybody that's doing under basically $200,000 a year top line is my base level for the middle package is $469 a month. So with a 4-month minimum. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that okay to be that blunt? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think we should be. I want everyone to know what it is.
Right. And if you called me, you called me to talk, we would talk about this specifically. So over 200, we start to look again at different, because it all comes down to the numbers and what we're looking at, because we're going to be looking at percentages of profit going back into your pocket that weren't going into your pocket before. The percentage of the owner's pay that's going in, and then also with a lot of people, it's eliminating debt, it's goal setting, it's getting that emergency fund set up. So it's what is it going to bring to you? So my investment is always, my goal is that you're going to make 10 times over the next year of what you invest into it. But so I have 3 different level packages. My base, I call it the silver self-starter, because it really is basic. You have a little less time with me.
We have a little less access to you, which I think is so valuable. I have to say, I'm not going to do it by myself. Yeah. Clearly.
But if you can do it by yourself, and if you're that person, you just want to know how to do
do.
profit first with the professional, then that's cool.
Yeah.
And those start at $299 a month. And then I go into the middle where we're doing more access to me, but we're also doing more goal setting. We're doing more. I do the full, what I call an E-crop, which is your evaluation, conversion, and rollout plan for your business as far as profit first. Because the profit first system in itself is kind of its own separate little entity that rolls into my business financial coaching. And so that E-crop in itself is, it's also a standalone product that I will sell, but I try to put it in with the coaching because it's the most effective. But that in itself is a 4, 6, or 8 quarter plan, and we haven't gotten to yours yet, but we will. We need your numbers first.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. We need your numbers first. So, in that middle plan, we do the full E-crop, and I'm doing evaluations, and we'll reevaluate every quarter to make sure it's still on a good track. Can we tweak this? Can we make it better? Again, it's based on your goals. Like some people want to bring more money home. Some people want more to go in profit. And some it's more about investing and setting up like a SEP so that you can start investing through your business, paying yourself, matching yourself, and tax savings. So there's a lot of different strategies we look at. That's kind of the middle package. And that base is $469 if you're doing under $200,000 a year. And then my top line package is $1169. And that's more for a corporate, I don't even say corporate setting, but if you have employees, because within there I also include the personal financial coaching. You can add on in the middle package for a discount. So I discount it by 20% of the personal coaching if you add that on. And I'm looking at changing that because, and this is just like offset, but so many more people have reached out to me in the last 2 months. Like when I say, are you talking about business or personal? It's both.
Yeah.
And
Well,
because if we're a hot mess in one
Yeah.
place, we're hot. I mean, it just, if it's something we don't like, we don't understand, we are. So I'm looking at maybe incorporating that somehow.
I think it's,
changing that.
we inevitably, like, I think you see how organized you can be. Well, you see, like, you have this need and you reach out for this one thing, and then you see how organized you're going to end up being, and you're like, oh, now I want to, and then you're like,
Yeah.
maybe I need to, I do. And I did the same thing. I was like, oh, I can't wait. I'm going to get this all taken care of. And then I'm going to have her start working on like my household, and we're going to run that like a really like well-oiled ship. And I'm like, wow, things are going to be really different.
And that's why I
Because you
want to
can't
be your money
unknow-
person
well, you
all
can't
around.
unknow these things too. Like once you start working with you in one capacity, it's like all of a sudden you're like, oh, well,
How would this work at home
If I
now?
translate this to now what's going on over here and just my day to day, it would make a big difference. And you start to see where you're like, oh, this is really a mindset, and this is really like I can move this over. I can now translate it over to here. It does make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm looking at maybe just incorporating it and changing the price a little bit and stuff. So that's just neither here nor there, but well, it is. But and the top one also includes financial wellness for employees. So if you do have staff, it's financial wellness workshops
that's a really
and
nice
seminars, and yeah, absolutely.
have
Because if your staff understands money, one of the biggest things that I believe in financial and corporate wellness is people jump ship for 50 cents sometimes.
Sure, yeah.
And 50 cents is great, but
Yeah.
you'd be better off if you teach them how to manage the other $15 an hour.
Right. And I think
And
that's
then
an
they won't need-
amazing benefit that you can give your employees. Like
100%.
like people stay in jobs when they're happy and they feel like they're treated well, and that would be an incredible perk to be able to give your employees. Like that's awesome.
Absolutely. So I look at it from that aspect of like what else can you do for your employees, and there's some benefits financially that you can take that when you're writing that through the business as an employee benefit. And again, we can just help more people. And when your staff knows how to handle money, they feel confident when their marriages are strong, because money is a huge separator for in marriages.
It's a stressor.
It is, because we all have different money stories, and we just don't know how to talk about it. It's such an intimate subject. So there's a lot of studies done that people worry about money while they're at work, an average of 13 hours in a month. I think it is. Is it a month or a week? I'm going to draw a blank on that right now. But just think about in your own life. Do you ever sit at work and think about your personal finances and like, oh man, I've got to worry about paying this bill, or what's going on here, or what if we do this? So that's the top level tier, again, in the base prices that we have.
Excellent.
So,
All right, and then just to be clear, like this is not a bookkeeping service.
no, I do not do bookkeeping. Now I but I have a lot of great referrals who are both profit first professionals and non, but who do excellent bookkeeping, who I'm happy to refer out. Some of them have services where they actually will teach you. They will do your bookkeeping setup. They will teach you. I have one local woman I actually met at the BNI yesterday. It was awesome. And she will go to your home and she will help you if you're local, and she'll help set up your QuickBooks and teach you how to use it. And I was like, we need to do one-on-one because I love you.
All right, so I feel like this is amazing. We're actually going to get started on our session today. We're gonna do a little spin around. We're gonna get started on our session today, but this was just my virtual introduction to Kristen for you guys. And So far, like, I am 2 sessions in. This is our second session, and I already find it to be super invaluable. Just the things that I've had to do to lead up to this and what I'm doing homework-wise, it's been amazing, and I already know it's going to change so much.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you.
All right, you ready?
All right, let's get to it.
We are now, we're going to chat about some of the homework that Kristen gave me from last week, and we're going to kind of get into the session and move through, do some of the work today. So,
all right. So just to recap, you were going to set up your bank accounts. You got all
those
of them.
done.
We're here.
Bank accounts
And
are done.
You were going to set up Wave.
Set up Wave.
And you were going to
Wave is
connect
done.
the new bank account for sure.
Yeah, so we set those up yesterday, and I set them up yesterday.
Okay.
So they needed 24 hours. So I'm going to check and see if I can pull them up and put them into it.
Okay. And did you call them and activate everything as well to do online?
Yeah.
So your online banking.
Yeah,
yourself.
she did that when we set it up.
Perfect. Okay.
She did it when we set it up. She said it was only, but it would probably take like 24 hours. So it should actually, she said within 24 hours. So I'm going to check and see if they're up now, if I can put them in.
Okay.
Let me pull up Wave quickly.
And then did you get to watch those videos I sent you on the tutorials as well? Did they help?
They did.
Okay.
They did. They were helpful.
I'm not asking you to be the expert yet. We're going to go through some of that too.
No, and I love that. I love that I have videos that I can watch when you're not here with me, and then I can kind of walk myself through them.
So again, I'm not a bookkeeper, but I do work on helping set up some of these systems as far as bookkeeping goes. But if you want anything further, then I have great contacts that can give you more detailed learning if needed. But I think that we'll be pretty good here eventually.
All right, and I did connect my Amex, because that's my business.
Perfect.
Amex account to this. So we do have that in. PNC was harder to get linked.
Okay.
Working with them, trying to link. And then I know that we're switching over to the new accounts, but I do want to have the old.
Yeah, we want to get your history in
Yeah,
there
I
if
do
we
wanna have
can,
the old
especially because once I can get better numbers from you for your 2018 if possible, but certainly 19, your profit and loss, your balance sheet, and your cash flow statement, we'll be able to get really good, strong numbers to get a historical database to set up your profit first accounts and for me to be able to do that full e-crop for you. Right. Otherwise, it's kind of a guessing game, and then we're going to have to just play with numbers, which I don't. I'd rather know for sure.
No, I want to know. That's the whole point of doing this, is to actually know and to not guess.
Exactly. So that's all the pre-work that we're kind of doing here.
Okay.
So did it pull in all your historical data as well?
So for my Amex, it did.
Awesome.
I think it just goes back 2 years.
Okay. No,
so
that is
I have
perfect.
2018 and 2000, and I have this current year, but I think that's all we.
That is perfect because that'll help.
It gives me the last 24 months.
Okay. And is that the only card that you have used for expenses?
Yeah, I keep one. It's just my designated business card.
Okay.
And then I use I use my business account as well. So once I get the PNC up, then that's the other one I'm working on getting in there.
Perfect. Okay. And then one of the other things that I had listed here for you was to start filling out the projection and profitability, and we haven't gotten there.
I did start.
Oh, okay.
I did start. I went back. So I'm starting to catch up from last year. So I went back to this is not anything into this yet.
Okay. That's why I'm like, I should have the same copy that's why I use Google Sheets, so we can share things.
No, we didn't.
And that's okay.
I didn't do it yet.
That's okay. We'll work on a little bit of that too. I mean, sometimes that can be part of this session also, that we go through these expenses, and while you find them and list them, I can start putting them in here, because that's how we're going to get down to doing. Oh.
There's a commotion going on right now at the house. I don't know what's going on.
The joys of working from home sometimes,
right? It is. Usually it's Turkleton.
Pros and cons, but yeah, so we can go ahead, we can work on this together anyway, and it's going to be part of the expense analysis when we start going through to see really what's, Marie Kondoing it. Is it bringing you joy or not? Is it bringing you an ROI or not? And can we do it cheaper? Is there a better way? Is there a new system out since you started doing something? There's so many different things, from companies that are doing payroll to where you're paying your cell phone from. If it's your personal, it's your business. There's different tax deductions you can be taking. So that's gonna be probably a part of our next couple sessions.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. So we're done with. So we're finished up with Wave for today, right?
Yep.
All right. So put this down. And what are we working on for next time?
So I want you to go back and work on getting that PNC account fixed. And that might take some phone time and whatnot. The next thing I want you to, we started putting some of those expenses. I want you to see if you can go back through and finish up all the expenses. Now, we're not really looking for history here and historical. This is the projection. So I want you to think about
really
specifically October.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
But a lot of them, like we started with all the fixed and the variable, but I want you to think about any marketing you're doing, anything else that's going to be coming out this month in particular.
Got it.
And see if you can finish filling that out.
Okay.
And then what we'll do the next session is we'll start to go through the expense analysis portion, and we will start to talk about every single one of those items right down the line from the top to the bottom, and filling that out is going to tell us, first of all, if you do the projected revenue and sales to clients you already have lined up, plus anything that you add on, minus all these expenses, it's going to tell us what in theory you're going to be bringing home.
Got it.
What's going to be going into your tax account this month, what you're going to be bringing in profit this month, and also what you're going to have left over as disposable income, which can be spent on marketing, or we can push more to profit, or we can push more to all those different categories.
I can do that.
Okay.
I can do that.
That's the really fun part, is when you get to see
Yeah,
where it's
still
going to
in
go.
the thick of like the work right now, and that's me catching up after a really busy bridal season this year and trying to kind of keep it all together. So,
And
this is what I'm hoping to avoid next year. So this is what we're working through. It's just kind of like getting out of the weeds a little bit,
Yes.
and trying to get my head above water. So that's next season. But this is what I love, that Kristen will actually sit here with me and help me do this and get through this, and then we'll meet again. I have a little bit of homework, and then we'll meet again next time. And every time we meet, I feel like we get more and more clear. It helps me so much feel like unburied from all of this.
Exactly.
And my stress levels go down. As I unbury myself from all of this, I feel like my stress levels go down, and I just have more
what we want.
mental space to devote to other things, more important things in life, let's face it.
Yeah, and you can just focus on your business.
Yeah.
You can focus on the things
The
you're
things I
enjoying.
love about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Not the
not
things
this.
you don't. But you're going to learn to love the money part.
I know.
I'm going to tell you that. It's once we get the systems in place and you start feeling very confident about it, and you start seeing the fruits of your labor like really paying off more, you're going to learn to love. I think we decided for you as Mondays pretty much would be your money day, Monday Mondays.
Yeah.
You're going to enjoy that hour of Monday that you focus on your Monday. Your money.
I'm so excited. And I thank you so much for doing this with me. And I thank you so much for sharing this with everybody. It's just been really great.
Absolutely. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So it's so important.
It's such a good investment. Such a good investment in yourself, guys.